Interestingly, this is a place where opportunities abound and people are out there working hard to carve a name for themselves in this big wide world. But then there's the flip side, the lucky souls who seem to have hit the jackpot by being born into wealth. Well, they're cruising through life making the most of what their families got. Hello and welcome, everyone. Today we're going on an interesting dive into the episode of the story of the Cathy family, who've made their mark in the restaurant business. So let's not waste any time and get right into this fascinating journey with us. In 2020, America's richest families were swimming in cash, and the Cathys were no exception. Well, they're the brains behind the Chick-fil-A empire, and they've got a cool $14.2 billion in their pocket. Pretty impressive, right? As you know, it's still a family-owned business. While the family ownership thing has its perks, though, unlike other fast food giants like McDonald's, you can't just buy stock in Chick-fil-A. No shareholders to share the pie with. So the value and profits stay in the Cathy family for one generation to the next. Let's talk about the man behind the chicken empire, Samuel Truett Cathy, a true American success story. He was born on March 14, 1921 in Eatonton, Georgia, to Lila James and Joseph Benjamin Cathy. After going to Boys High School in Atlanta and serving in the U.S. Army during World War II, he did something remarkable. In 1946, in the Atlanta suburb of Hapeville, he opened up a small joint called the Dwarf Grill, which got its name because it was tiny. It was there, alongside his brother Ben, that they whipped up the legendary chicken sandwich that's now the star of Chick-fil-A's menu. But it's not just about the food. Samuel married Janet McNeil, and they had 3 kids. As a person, he was deeply religious, a member of the First Baptist Church of Jonesboro, Georgia, and taught Sunday school there for over half a century. He was all about the Bible as his life guide. Because of his strong faith, every Chick-fil-A, whether it's company-owned or franchised, is closed on Sundays. Why, you ask? Well, back in the day, when Cathy was working like a machine 6 days a week, he decided it was time for a breather. So he closed up shop on Sundays, and that's how the tradition began. Samuel Truett Cathy, the Chick-fil-A genius, wasn't just about chicken sandwiches. He had a way with words, too. He penned 5 books, including his autobiography, Eat More Chicken, Inspire More People, and a motivational gem titled, It's Easier to Succeed Than to Fail. There was also It's Better to Build Boys Than Mend Men for parenting wisdom, and How Did You Do It, Truett, where he spilled the beans on his business success. And let's not forget, Wealth, Is It Worth It?, involving money's role in our lives. The man had a lot to say. Additionally, he co-wrote Generosity Factor with Ken Blanchard, showcasing the joy of giving time, talent, and treasure. He even dabbled in pizza, opening Upscale Pizza in Fayetteville, Georgia in 2008. But you know what? Every story has its chapters. In 2013, he hung up his Chick-fil-A hat, retiring as chairman and CEO, and his son, Dan Cathy, stepped in to keep the chicken empire going strong. Cathy was more than just a businessman. He was all about giving back. He sponsored the Chick-fil-A Bowl, formerly the Peach Bowl, and had a scholarship program for Chick-fil-A employees, helping them chase their dreams. He even fostered children for over 3 decades. His work earned him honors like the William E. Simon Prize for Philanthropic Leadership, and the accolades kept coming. From fraternities like Pi Kappa Alpha and Delta Sigma Pi to being ranked among the richest folks in America by Forbes, he was making waves. In 2008, President George W. Bush recognized his contributions with the President's Call to Service Award. And wait, there's something more interesting. In 2011, he was inducted into the Indiana Wesleyan University Society of World Changers. Not only that, but the university even gave him an honorary doctorate in business. That's quite an honor, right? But the recognition continued for him. In 2012, he got another honorary doctorate, this time alongside presidential candidate Mitt Romney at Liberty University's commencement ceremony. Romney was running for president at the time and mentioned how Chick-fil-A sandwiches were like a source of comfort during the campaign. He congratulated Cathy on his well-deserved honor. It was a well-deserved honor, and you could practically feel the pride in the air. Also, Cathy was a man of letters, too. In 1997, he received an honorary degree in Doctor of Humane Letters from Oglethorpe University. In 2013, he became a Georgia trustee. This is a big deal given by the Georgia Historical Society and the governor of Georgia to folks who embody the ideals of the founding trustees who ran the Georgia colony back in the day. Talk about leaving a mark. Now, let's talk about the power shift in the Cathy family and the man in charge, Dan Cathy. Even though no single family member owns Chick-fil-A entirely, the way big businesses work, it was only fair that one of S. Truett Cathy's kids would step up as CEO. That role fell to Dan Cathy, the eldest of the Cathy siblings. Dan Cathy was born in Jonesboro, Georgia. In 1953 to Jeanette and S. Truett Cathy, he was the first of 3 kids. His dad had just kicked off the Dwarf House restaurant. He's got a younger brother, Bubba, and his sister, Trudy. And here's something pretty cool. Their family fostered quite a few kids over the years. Later on, Dan got an early start in the family business. Back in the late 60s, while he was still in school, he was doing radio commercials for his dad's original Dwarf House in Hapeville, Georgia. By that time, his old man was spreading his restaurant wings all over Atlanta and Georgia, growing the Chick-fil-A franchise. After scoring a bachelor's degree in business administration from Georgia Southern University in 1975, Dan dove headfirst into the family enterprise. He started as director of operations and eventually worked his way up to the top job in 2013. And he's not just a CEO who sits behind a desk. He's out there visiting Chick-fil-A's 2,000 restaurants. While he might have stepped down as CEO in late 2021, Dan Cathy remains chairman of the board, but it's not just chicken sandwiches he's into. He's got a collection of honorary doctorates from the University of West Georgia, Anderson College, Carver College, and Pepperdine University. Whoa. Now, don't forget the family's WinShape Foundation, a nonprofit that supports a bunch of Southern Baptist ministries. And here's a shocking stat for you. Between 2013 and 2021, Chick-fil-A's domestic sales went from $5 billion to over $16.5 billion. Talk about growth. And guess what? Dan Cathy, the former CEO, really had his eyes on customer service. In an interview, he explained that they wanted Chick-fil-A to stand out from the competition, and they aimed to do that by offering top-notch service. So it wasn't just about the food, but also about how they treated their customers. Then, in September 2021, the spotlight shifted to Andrew Cathy, Dan's son. He became the third CEO in Chick-fil-A's history. In a statement, Dan Cathy expressed his confidence in Andrew by handing over his business to his son. Chick-fil-A, being a privately held, family-owned business, had the luxury of planning this transition thoughtfully and carefully, ensuring stability and continuity. Furthermore, Andrew Cathy isn't a newbie to the Chick-fil-A world. He's worn various hats within the company, from running a restaurant to heading up the human resources department, and his tenure as CEO started on a high note. In 2022, domestic sales shot up by 13%, and the company now boasts over 2,800 restaurants across the nation. That's quite the success story. But that's not where the story ends, my friends. Here, I must say that the Cathy family's legacy continues to shape the future of Chick-fil-A, and it's not just about serving delicious chicken sandwiches. However, it's a story of unwavering commitment to customer service, strong family values, and a vision for growth that keeps Chick-fil-A thriving. As Andrew Cathy takes charge, the Chick-fil-A journey is far from over, and the next chapters promise to be as exciting as the ones that came before. Thanks for watching the entire video. Now guys, please press the like, share, and subscribe buttons for more content. Until next time.